Welcome to Eternal_Sovereign, your fresh haven where ageless wisdom meets modern insights. We're elated to see visionaries, dreamers, and seekers joining us. Here we explore knowledge, creativity, spiritual growth, all designed to inspire and resonate with your journey. As we start this voyage, a blessing. May wisdom guide, discovery thrill, unity strengthen us. We wish each viewer peace, growth. May this channel serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration source. Together we probe the endless possibilities. Amen. Subscribe to join this enlightening journey. Welcome to Eternal_Sovereign. Hello dear viewers and subscribers, we appreciate your support and interest. Today, we delve into a story that unravels a profound lesson in empathy and justice. In the hustle and bustle of a workspace, there's often an unseen burden that goes unnoticed. Picture this, a workspace filled to the brim with an overwhelming influx of correspondence, letters and emails, all clamoring for attention, all seeking a response. Over 1,000 of them each month, each one a cry for help, a plea for attention, a request for action. It's a daunting task, one that consumes the nights, one that is personally handled with meticulous care. But as with all things, time moves forward. With the passing of time comes change, an ascent in the professional hierarchy, a transition to a new office, an embrace of additional responsibilities. But along with these changes, something gets left behind. In the corner of the new office, untouched and unread, a stack of letters gathers dust. They sit there, neglected, forgotten, their pleas unheard. They're a silent testament to a story untold, a story of desperation and a plea for help. Their presence is intriguing, their identical contact information, requests, and handwriting hinting at a singular source. One day these letters, nearly discarded by the cleaning staff, catch the eye. They're saved from oblivion, chosen for a closer examination. Opening one reveals a plea from a laborer in November 2019. It's addressed to the finance department, seeking overdue wages for urgent medical treatment for a severe case of hepatitis impacting his liver. Each subsequent letter mirrors the first, laden with palpable distress and urgency. The most recent, dated the 10th of August 2020, implores for empathy and communication, revealing that attempts to reach out had been met with silence and obstruction. Intrigued by the neglected letters, I realized they were all from the same person, identical in their pleas and desperation. The letters were a plea for overdue wages sent by a laborer struggling with a severe health condition. Imagine a stack of letters, each one carrying the weight of a man's life, his hope, his desperation. Each envelope sealed with the pressing urgency of a plea, a cry for help, written by a laborer. His situation was grave, his health deteriorating. He was battling a severe case of hepatitis, a disease that was slowly gnawing away at his liver, the very organ that was essential for his survival. These letters were not just pieces of paper, but they were a lifeline, a desperate attempt to reach out, to seek what was rightfully his hard-earned wages. He needed this money, not for luxury, not for leisure, but for something far more crucial, urgent medical treatment. His life depended on it, literally. Each letter was a mirror of the previous one, echoing the same plea, the same distress. Yet they lay there, untouched, unread, forgotten in some corner, gathering dust. A plea sent out into the void, hoping for a response, waiting for a lifeline, but all it met was silence. The silence was deafening, it was dismissive. It was the silence of indifference, the silence of negligence. And in this silence, the laborer's voice was lost, his pleas unheard, his desperation ignored. His most recent letter, dated the 10th of August 2020, was a heartfelt plea for empathy, for communication. He wasn't asking for much, just a response, an acknowledgement, a sign that his voice was heard. But all his attempts to reach out were met with silence, a wall of obstruction that seemed insurmountable. It was a stark contrast, a glaring irony. Here was a company known for its reputation of fairness and support, yet it had turned a deaf ear to the desperate pleas of one of its own. His pleas met with silence, his desperation ignored, his voice unheard. But the story doesn't end here. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this narrative, unfolding the layers of deceit, betrayal, and ultimately hope. A phone call to the number provided was a window into their world of despair. The ringtone echoed for what seemed like an eternity before it was finally answered by a woman. Her voice, weary and laden with sorrow, was the voice of the laborer's wife. She was the voice of despair. She began to recount their tale, a tale of desperation that was as heartbreaking as it was enraging. Her husband, the laborer, was no longer just a name on a piece of paper. He was a man who was fighting for his life, his livelihood, and the dignity that had been denied to him. He was immobile on the brink of death, his body ravaged by a severe case of hepatitis impacting his liver. Their pleas for help, she said, had been ignored. Their attempts to communicate with the company had been met with silence and obstruction. The voice of despair spoke of a company that had abandoned them in their hour of need. A company that was supposed to be a beacon of fairness and support had turned a blind eye to their suffering. Motivated by her story, I decided to visit their village and was confronted with the grim reality. It was a place far removed from the hustle and bustle of our corporate offices, situated between two towns. Life there moved at a different pace, a stark contrast to the quickened rhythm of the city. Upon my arrival, I was led to their humble abode. It was here I saw him, the laborer, his strength sapped by the relentless disease. His eyes, once bright with hope, now bore the weight of 1,000 sleepless nights. His body, once robust from years of hard labor, now lay frail and gaunt, a mere shell of its former self. The sight was heart-wrenching, a testament to the devastating effects of his illness. His wife, the woman whose voice I had heard over the phone, was there by his side. Her hand clasped his, in a silent promise of unwavering support. Her eyes, though filled with sorrow, exuded an indomitable spirit. Her strength was a beacon in the face of adversity, her love for her husband unwavering, even in the face of such hardship. The room was filled with a palpable sadness, an aura of despair that was hard to shake off. But amidst this despair, there was an undeniable sense of resilience. Their will to fight, to survive, was as evident as the love they shared. In their struggle, I saw a profound testament of human spirit, of love's power to endure even the harshest of circumstances. Back at work, I delved into the matter, uncovering a grievous oversight. As I navigated the labyrinth of company records and correspondence, a sinister pattern began to emerge, revealing a sordid tale of deceit and betrayal right under our noses. It appeared that the wages approved for our laborer had never reached him. Instead, they had been funneled into the pockets of a deceitful intermediary, a trusted individual who had been given the responsibility to distribute these funds. The letters, a desperate plea for help, were a testament to the laborer's struggle against an unseen enemy, one cloaked in the guise of a trusted ally. The discovery was like a punch to the gut. The trust placed in this intermediary was not just professional, it was personal. Familial ties had woven a bond of trust that had been mercilessly exploited, leading to unimaginable suffering for an innocent man and his family. The company's response, following my report, was swift and compassionate. No sooner had I highlighted the injustice, the gears of change began to turn. The company, once oblivious to the laborer's plight, now became a beacon of hope. They moved with a sense of urgency that was both urgent and directed, a stark contrast to the silence that had shrouded the laborer's pleas for months on end. The company facilitated medical care for the laborer, bridging the gap between despair and relief. They connected him with the best medical practitioners, ensuring he received the most effective treatment available. This intervention, although late, brought a glimmer of hope in the laborer's final days. It was as if a soothing balm had been applied to a long-neglected wound, a testament to the power of empathy and action. Yet the laborer's condition was far advanced, his body ravaged by the disease and the toll of waiting. His final days were spent in the comfort of professional care, provided by the company, a stark contrast to the months of suffering. The company's response, although belated, was a beacon of hope in the laborer's twilight hours. Then came a call from the laborer's wife, her voice resonating with a mix of sorrow and gratitude. She thanked the company for its intervention, expressing appreciation for the assistance that had brought a brief resurgence of her husband's spirit. Her words painted a picture of a man who, in his final days, had experienced a semblance of relief and recognition. Her call was bittersweet, marking both an end and a reminder of the profound impact of our actions on the lives of others. It was a poignant moment, a stark reminder of the power we hold, the difference we can make. It underscored the importance of vigilance, of empathy, of taking action when we witness injustice. For in the end, our actions, or lack thereof, reverberate far beyond our immediate sphere, touching lives in ways we may never fully comprehend. This narrative underscores a critical reflection on our individual and collective ethics. It propels us into a space of contemplation, a space where we recognize the interwoven threads of our actions or inactions and their ripple effects in the world around us. It's a space where we grapple with the weight of our own responsibility and the breadth of our impact. Imagine for a moment a stone dropped into a lake. The stone, in itself, is small, but the ripples it creates extend far beyond its point of entry. They reach the lake's edges, touching every plant, every creature that calls the lake home. In a similar vein, our actions, our decisions, our silence, they're like that stone. They create ripples, affecting lives beyond our immediate vision, reaching spaces we may not even be aware of. This story of a laborer, his plea for help, and the tragic consequences of our collective silence is a stark reminder of this ripple effect. It's a call to action, a plea for us to listen, to act, to respond with compassion and integrity to the voices that reach out to us. It's a plea for us to ensure that our actions align with our values, that our decisions are guided not just by our individual goals, but also by our collective responsibility towards each other. The essence of humanity goes beyond the roles we play, the titles we hold. It's not bound by the walls of our office spaces or the confines of our job descriptions. It's reflected in our ability to empathize, to reach out, to stand up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. It's reflected in our willingness to see beyond ourselves, to acknowledge the humanity in others, and to act in ways that affirm and honor this shared humanity. We're called to be more than just bystanders in the world. We're called to be active participants, catalysts for change. We're called to embody integrity, to uphold justice, to extend compassion. We're called to respond to the forgotten letters, the unheard pleas, the silent cries for help. And this isn't about grand gestures or heroic deeds. It's about the small, everyday decisions we make. It's about choosing to listen, choosing to act, choosing to care. It's about recognizing that our actions, no matter how small, have the power to change lives. So, let's strive to create a world that's grounded in empathy and justice. Let's strive to be individuals who not only understand the ripple effect of our actions, but who consciously choose to create ripples that uplift, that heal, that affirm the dignity and worth of every individual. It is a poignant reminder that we should strive to foster a world grounded in empathy and justice. Remember, your actions, no matter how small, have the power to change lives. Thank you for joining us today.